Welcome back to BizTalk with Sherman. I'm your host, Sherman On, sharing your story in a show me world. Excited to have our next guest on talking about sales team leadership with Chris Beasley. Chris Beasley is the president of Compass Sales Solutions, affiliated with the Sales Acceleration. He has over 30 years of sales leadership experience and works with owners of small and medium-sized businesses to build high-performing sales teams that drive growth. So really excited to have you back on the show, Chris.
Great to be here again, Sherman. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, last week you were telling us about the importance of having a good sales process. How can a business owner build a sales process that is effective?
Well, just recapping what we talked about last week, Sherman, a sales process is having a purposeful and consistent way that every salesperson you have in the organization does things the same way in moving a prospect through the process to become a customer. So if everyone does it the same way, the owner and the whole team in the company knows where each prospect is and what has to be done and what to expect in the future. So the first step is to document the process. Document your current process, think about it, see what steps are missing, and make sure you have the complete process that you want to have. And second, you build a CRM system. You validate the data that you use to build that system. You involve all the stakeholders in the company, and then you adjust it. It's a living thing. You adjust it as needed to make it better and better.
So how does a business owner document the sales process, especially if they don't have one?
Well, first of all, everyone has a sales process. Now, it may not be a purposeful process. It's just the way you do stuff. Maybe not everybody does it the same way. Maybe not every sale happens the same way, but you have some sort of process. So start with that. Write down what you do. You have to, at certain stages, you have to prepare a quote. Maybe you have to get certain permissions. Maybe you have to get, to follow up with an email, with a visit, maybe send samples, all the things that you do to move a customer forward in the process. Document that down. Talk to everyone. Document what tasks are done at each stage, what decisions have to be made, what communications go back and forth, what the deadlines, who's responsible. So you write all of that down. And if you find there are gaps, things that should happen that aren't happening, you put those in the process as needed. And then, for example, customer needs a quotation. Well, you need an estimate from the production department. You need freight. Maybe you need a lawyer to be involved in looking at the contract. Maybe you need a quotation from production. So you put all those things together. Who has to do that, and when, and what do they have to deliver to the salesperson to move that customer forward into the next stage of the process. So you write all that down, and then you look at historically how everything's done. So when a customer gets to a certain stage, do they have a 50% chance of being successful? Maybe at the beginning it's a 10% chance. Maybe by the time you give a quote, it's an 80% chance. So you write all that down. What are the chances of success at each stage based on your historical data, and how long does each stage typically take? And so you document all of that, and you kind of go through it with everyone in the company to make sure it's correct.
Now, what is a CRM, and how can that be customized?
Okay, a CRM system just means customer relationship management. It's a software program. You buy it, you run it on your computer, and everyone in the company uses it, so it keeps track of all of your prospective customers and your actual customers, who the contacts are, all the communications with that customer. So every time you call someone, send them an email, visit them, you write that down, make notes about it in the CRM system, and then you can use it also to track your marketing campaigns. And finally, you build your sales process into the system so that the customers then your prospects are assigned to the correct stages, and you can see, everyone can see where they are in the process by using that CRM system. Now, common ones available in the market are Salesforce, HubSpot. Those are large and complex ones, but there are also a number of CRM systems available that are inexpensive and simplified for the small business to use. For example, Zoho and Pipedrive are very common ones. There are a number of others too that work, most of them quite well.
Now, what is needed to validate the data for the sales process?
Okay, so once you have the sales process, You enter the sales process into the CRM system, and you write down all those stages, and then you review it with your team, review what the process is today, what the process you think should be, who are at each stage, what tasks are assigned to whom, are those appropriate, are the deadlines appropriate, and then you train everyone in the company, especially the salespeople, to use that. And so they use it consistently, they use it honestly, and you make sure that it's being used correctly. And then finally, the CRM system can produce reports. So when you have your sales process documented in the system, every prospect assigned to its correct stage, you can generate reports of how fast each customer is moving forward in the process, how each individual salesperson is doing in filling their pipeline and moving customers forward in their process. And then you can create weekly reports and monthly reports that track the progress. You can have sales forecasts, because now you know how many prospects there are at each stage, what the probability of success is for each one of them based on where they are in the process. You can now forecast how many new sales you're going to get from those new customers that are in the pipeline.
Now, for a business owner, how can they involve all those key stakeholders in this sales process?
Well, it's really critical to make sure you talk to everyone that's involved in the process. Yes, you talk to your sales representatives, but you also talk to the people that they interact with in developing a customer. So, as I mentioned before, for example, the people that give you freight estimates, production estimates, the people that give you creditworthiness information on your customer, shipping terms, all those sorts of things, all the people that interact with the sales rep and interact with the prospective customer, you talk to them, you explain the process, you get them to help build and improve the process, and you get their buy-in so that everyone then understands what they're doing and can use it consistently. And then finally, you look for and have everyone in the company help you look for the breakdowns, the communications, the delays, and the bottlenecks that happen. So as you build the process, you see, okay, there are two different people that are doing the same thing. Probably you don't have to have them both do it. You may have tasks that are being done in sequence. Well, this thing has to be done first, and then this person, and then that person. So you look at that, those really have to be done in sequence, or can they be done in parallel? So you look at ways to simplify, to clarify, to reduce duplication, and to make sure that everything that's happening happens purposefully. You have a quote which is waiting for everyone to approve it. Do all those people have to approve it? Do they have to approve it one at a time? Can they all approve it together? So all those sorts of things that have to happen, they can be examined, and the process can be improved to make it quicker, more agile, and more effective.
What about sometimes businesses wanting to have flexibility to make adjustments to that sales process?
Well, sure. As you have a process, you find out maybe your probabilities of success are not quite correct, or as you use the process, you generate the data and you look at those reports over time. So you talk with your team about what works, what takes too long, how can we review the process, are the data correct, and is everyone using it successfully? So you gradually find out, well, this step doesn't quite work, we're not having the right people involved, and so then you build the process up in your system and you adjust it. When you have finally an automated process, then the CRM system can help you generate, as you move a prospect forward at each stage, it will generate the tasks that are to be done and actually communicate to each person. Now this customer is at this stage, they have to do these 3 things, they're due in 2 weeks, and everyone knows what they have to do. So you can gradually adjust and refine your process and make sure it works more and more effectively over time.
Now, can a business owner just develop their own effective sales process just by themselves?
Sure. As I said at the beginning, everyone has a process, but be purposeful and consistent about it. Document it, think through how the sales are done, who's involved, and be disciplined about it in implementing it, documenting your progress, and improving it. Now, for those people that don't do this every day, it can be a challenge to do that, but it's possible. But if you're looking for an outside point of view, some help in how other companies do things based on experience, then there are experienced people. For example, my colleagues at Sales Acceleration, we all have 25 years of experience in doing this, in sales leadership and in building effective sales processes. So if you want outside help, we'll be happy to help with building a process for you, implementing it, or even leading your sales team if necessary. So if you want outside help, please ask. My phone number is 713-588-0169, or you can email me at cbeasley@salesacceleration.com.
All right, thanks so much, Chris, for coming on the show. Sales Team Leadership with Chris Beasley. We'll take a quick commercial break and come right back with Your Digital Biz with Mike Moran.